It's time to talk about women's football. Nigeria Super Falcons return to training on Sunday to begin preparations for their high-stakes semi-final clash against defending champions, the Bayana of South Africa, scheduled for Tuesday. Their encounter promises to be a thrilling battle between two of the continent's top sides, with a coveted place in the final on the line. In the second semi-final, tournament hosts Morocco will face Ghana. Winners from both ties will meet in the final, while the losing teams will contest the third-place match. Following the team's media campaign dubbed Mission X, the Super Falcons will be aiming to extend the dominant record in the competition and reclaim the continental crown they lost in, or the last one in 2018. Now, meanwhile, the team had its press conference this afternoon ahead of the tie on Tuesday. Let's get clips from that particular press conference.
The last qualifying game for the Olympics, and we defeated them at home and had a draw in South Africa. But every game is different. The Olympic qualifiers are quite different from this particular tournament. One thing is certain: they are South Africa, we are Nigeria, and we all know what is at stake when it comes to games between, countries. We know what rivalry means between us, and so we're not taking anything for granted. And what has passed has passed. Tomorrow's own is the one that determines what happens. So we're fully ready towards that, and we're set to go.
All right, that was Coach Justin Madugu talking in the press conference on the importance of this game on Tuesday. Joining us from Casablanca, Morocco, is our correspondent, Onyechi Obaro. Onyechi, good afternoon to you. I can see it's sunny from where you are. Thank you very much for joining. An interesting day build-up to what we have on Tuesday, Nigeria against South Africa. You were at the press conference. Kindly tell us what we don't know about the press conference from the angle of our coach, Justin Madugu, and Desiree Ellis, the coach of South Africa.
All right, thank you so much, Favor. The heat is intense in Casablanca at the moment. The sun is out in full force. It seems it's roasting the whole of me here, standing at the Larubi Zuli Stadium, just at the main entrance of the stadium. We just wrapped up the press conference heralding this semi-final encounter against Nigeria and South Africa. South Africa, remember, being the defending champions of the side. So representing Nigeria was the coach, Justin Madugu, and player Esther Okoronkwo. Why? From the South African camp was coach Desiree Ellis and Gabriela Salgado. Now remember that Gabriela Salgado was not at the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations due to injuries, so she returns at this time around, being her first WAFCON. And she says that she is at all times I'm so grateful that she was able to make it to this WAFCON for the 2024 edition. The team is ready. They are not scared at the moment, but they understand the task ahead against 9-time African champions and against a team that thumped Zambia 5-0 in that quarterfinal encounter. Though theirs went into penalties, she says the team is going to take the game as it comes, and she will always wrap up her own take saying, let the best team win on the day. For coach Desiree Ellis, she knows what is at stake to face the Nigerian team, having faced Nigeria as a player and now as a coach. Now, questions were put to her, asking her that she has faced Nigeria under two previous coaches, the persons of Thomas Denaby and Randy Waldrum, but she gets to face a new coach. Now, it seems the dynamics has changed. What is her game plan? She says it's good that at this time that she gets to face three coaches on the tutelage of the Super Falcons of Nigeria, but she says that she would take the game, use her tactics, and she understands the high-stakes match ahead of that semi-final, and we go take it as it comes. For coach Justin Madugu, he began by saying that the team is prepared for the task ahead, that they understand that they are the defending champions. They know that they went a stretch with Senegal and it went into penalty shootout. They understand how defensively.
All right, I think we lost connection with Onyechi Obaro. We're hoping to have her back. But let me come to Enito Obadino. Enito, Onyechi was giving us updates from what happened in the press conference between Nigeria's coach and South Africa's coach. When you look at the history and the record books, In 2018, Nigeria played South Africa, the first game of the 2018 Nations Cup in Ghana. They lost 1-0, and they've met again in the final of the competition. Nigeria won via penalties in that one. Fast forward to 2022, similar kind of, but then Nigeria lost, to South Africa in the group stages, went on again to lose, and now they play again on Tuesday. Different years, different ball game, you want to say, but the coach of South Africa is still there. What should Nigeria expect in that cracker, bit against South Africa?
We should expect a tough game. Basically, a lot goes into these games. Like the coach Justin Madugu talked about that. Every new game is a different animal. You have to understand. And once you have that understanding, that you face each game without that element of victory. So one thing is, you mentioned some stats. Basically, and it's interesting if we dig down into that stat. Majorly, in the last 2-3 editions, when we face South Africa at the group stages, we are definitely we've lost most of the times, especially opening group games. Coming into this tournament, we've never won an opening group game because the last 2 previous tournaments we played South Africa, and that means we lost on both occasions. So this is at the top, but this is the first time we are winning an opening game against Tunisia, and because we are playing a country, not South Africa. But at the knockout stages, we've mostly 90 to 95%, most of the time, triumph against South Africa when we face them. Even just like in Ghana, you talked about, we lost in the group stages, we got to the final, won by a penalty. We could have won that game in regulation time. The assistant not lost the penalty was in regulation or extra time, basically. So this is a different game. South Africa has the same coach, so she has grown in years. Our understanding of the Nigerian team has grown. But one thing she also has to account for is the changes in the Nigerian team, which I think a lot of people should put notice. Because we have so much of the bulk of a team of girls who are very talented and who played together for years. Nigeria got slower as the players aged. The likes of Odega, the likes of Okobi, Onome, Berita, Chikwelu, most of them are out of the same. We now have younger, faster girls mixed with the experience of Oshoala or Harley in defense, and Odega are moving around them. So we have mostly younger girls. And the women's games are about how young, how fast, and how hardworking you are. And of course, both teams are talented. So this is a different ball game for the two teams. Nigeria has laid down a big, huge gauntlet with that spanking of Zambia by 5-0. It was important Nigeria made that statement because in the psychological battle, South Africa and Zambia were ahead of Nigeria, not in terms of performance on the pitch. Of course, Madugu also mentioned that he got one over them during the Olympic qualifiers. It was a tense and close game. Won the game in Abuja, Nigeria won it, and then drew 0-0 in South Africa. So I'm expecting another tense, close game. Tactics will be on top. Both teams trying to cancel each other out.
All right. Before I let you go and talk about your scoreline, Aburi on the sports, what do you think will play out tomorrow? Goalless draw, a win for Nigeria, a win for South Africa, straight to penalties. What's your take on tomorrow's game?
I'm going to be super close here because what the Nigerian team did basically against Zambia, it was unexpected. Yeah, I expected that we were going to win, but smashing them 5-0 and seeing this is the thing, as long as Madugu stick to a better team, not the previous team that played the group stage because they had all kind of issues at the group stages. But that team against Zambia, any form of that team, it might not be exact, and Nigeria should be getting at least 2 to 3-0 win against South Africa.
All right, thank you very much, Anita Obadino, for your contribution, and we look forward to an interesting matchup on Tuesday when Nigeria takes on the defending champion South Africa.